Each vendor is an expert on their particular tea selection. They've chosen them sometimes right in the tea fields, so they know each of the vendors who are there selling tea are going to be sampling some of their best and favorite teas and talking about them and letting people know what makes this special or what makes that special. Even some of our teaware makers, we have wonderful potters there. They're also brewing tea, sometimes using their beautiful pottery. So each of the 60 booths is an experience in itself, where you have expert tea lovers trying to transfer that love of tea to everybody there with a cup waiting for a taste of tea.
Festival coordinator Andrew Goodman and Virginia Wright, president of the Puget Sound Tea Education Association, are in the spotlight to explain what makes this year's gathering distinctive, how first-time visitors can approach dozens of choices without feeling overwhelmed, and why longtime attendees treat the festival as both an educational experience and an annual reunion. The Northwest Tea Festival is presented by the nonprofit Puget Sound Tea Education Association. The association's mission focuses on tea education, community, and broader public engagement with tea culture. Last year's festival attracted approximately 4,000 tea enthusiasts to the Seattle Center. Andrew, Virginia, thank you both for joining me on the program. I'm eagerly anticipating the 16th edition of this venerable event. Virginia, how does the festival help a curious newcomer explore without feeling overwhelmed?
I think one of the really benefits to the festival is that you have so many different experiences all in space. So people can visit the different vendor booths to taste things that they don't know about. And there's low commitment. You're not buying teaware, buying tea to figure out, you can learn what you're interested in and then also participate in the presentations to learn. And I think that the biggest thing is just that there's a broad spectrum of experiences for people.
That freedom to taste and ask questions matters even more when the selection spans much of the tea-growing world. Andrew, what can visitors discover here that they are unlikely to find in an ordinary shop?
After our success in 2025, we started early in looking for vendors and presenters to be part of the Tea Festival this year. Our intent was to widen the scope of people that were coming. We wanted to have people with teas, of course, from the great tea-growing countries, China, Taiwan, Japan, India, but it was also my goal to have African teas represented and Korean teas represented, and with great interest now with Southeast Asian teas to have Vietnamese teas represented. Because we started a little earlier this year and sent out invitations, we got a tremendous response from the vendor community, and we were able to choose, and we were able to pick, and we're able to make a great selection of teas from all over. Many of these are people that we knew, but there were other people who've been trying to get into the festival for years, and in reading their application and in reading what they had to say, it was very exciting to see we were broadening. So you really couldn't find something like this going into a tea shop. You couldn't find it going into a tea supermarket if there were such a thing. Tea is grown worldwide. It's consumed worldwide. And we wanted to have people coming, attendees, to experience teas and learn about teas from all over. You know, education is our mission. So in having such a great group of vendors this year, it really serves that purpose. And someone who's a tea expert is going to find things of interest, but someone who never had anything but a cup of tea at grandma's house when they were a kid, they're also going to learn. So we have a great range and a broad spectrum of interests for our attendees.
The breadth is impressive, but a festival becomes memorable when visitors can turn sampling into understanding. Virginia, beyond tasting, where does discovery happen during the weekend?
Being exposed to other people's practice with tea and different teas that I haven't seen is a major part of it. There's always things to learn from other vendors or from the people who have, if I were just a visitor, I would learn so much from the vendors just talking to people about what their own tea specialties are.
The first visit can feel ambitious. Dozens of booze presentations, workshops, and tea bar sessions. The organizers have worked to make that abundance easier to navigate. Andrew, what does admission include, and how should a newcomer plan the day?
Well, we've been at the Seattle Center Exposition Hall for 5 or 6 years now, and it's the third part of Seattle Center where we've had the festival. We keep growing and we keep learning, so from the very start, when people buy their tickets, we try to make that easier and we encourage people to buy them online ahead of time. We've streamlined the process of getting people into the festival. It took a while to get everyone processed. Now our goal is to have everyone in the room and ready to go at 10 a.m. if they choose to be there that early. We start our presentations and we start our workshops and we start our T-bar educational experiences at 11 so people can kind of get the lay of the land and walk around. We continually try to improve by learning. We ask the attendees what they thought of the festival the prior year. We listened to them. We asked the vendors what they liked and what they didn't like from the prior year. We listened to them. So it's a method of continuous improvement. We want the experience to be as positive as possible. And what we do now is you buy your admission ticket and everything else is free. Of course, unless you want to buy some tea or teaware, but all of the workshops, all of the T-bar educational experiences, everything is free. You get a lovely cup, you get a program. A number of our vendors are putting educational materials about black teas, about oolong teas into the gift bag that everyone gets. So people walk away with a nice little collection of things before they even start. We try to make it as user-friendly as we can. And I want to stress it's a continuous improvement process. And we learn from our attendees and from our vendors. We try to listen to them. Another important thing is our volunteers. We have over 125 people who come for the 2 days to help. They're an important audience, so we listen to them too, and they have contact with everyone. So it's really a triumvirate. It's the attendees, the vendors, and the volunteers that make the festival as enticing and as interesting to people as it is.
The festival's educational mission is only part of its staying power. It also brings together vendors, volunteers, and tea drinkers who may see one another only once a year. Virginia, what does this gathering contribute to the tea community itself?
I was thinking about, so one of the things that's important about the festival is also the camaraderie of the vendors with each other. It's so being able to get all of these local tea businesses in the same place is actually really valuable for the vendors also. I think one of the things that's really wonderful about the tea community is that the people who own tea businesses and tea organizations are generally not competitive with each other. They're very collaborative. And there's this sense of camaraderie around the concept of tea itself and tea cultures. And that is felt really strongly at the tea festival when everyone is together.
Andrew, why do people return, and why should first-time visitors buy their tickets early?
The founders, Julie, Doug, James, a couple of other people, really were tea lovers, and their idea was to get people together. When we applied for our 501c3, the Puget Sound Tea Education Association, we chose tea education as our mission. So for me, that is over everything. Teaching people about tea, from the very simplest, what is the leaf, what's the name of the plant, to the most complex charcoal roasting, everything in there. But the piece that is amazing to me is that it becomes a reunion for people who have been coming year after year, 15, 16, 17, 18 years. Of course, we had the COVID in there for a while. It's a wonderful get together of people who maybe only see their friends once a year or twice a year. Certainly with the kind of restrictions we have now and travel being diminished, people come to the festival because they love seeing their friends. They love experience and learning what's happened over the years. So it's as much a reunion of tea lovers and dedicated tea people, welcoming to new people, as it is anything else. I think they all work very well together. It's a very congenial group of people, and they love seeing one another, and they love seeing the tea. They love seeing the vendors. You know, many of the vendors return year after year after year. And our platinum sponsor this year, Sugimoto Tea, they've been with us since the very beginning. In looking back through the records, Kyohei, who runs the company here in the USA, presented at the very first tea festival. I believe it was in 2010, and he continues to be a part of it. So it's people coming back from the vendor community as well as our attendees, the tea lovers. It builds. 1 and 1 become 3. It's really a great experience for everybody. People stay the whole day. Some people stay for the whole 2 days just to be part of that excitement. I'm not going to let this end also without thanking and calling out the over dozen year-long volunteers who meet sometimes monthly. Some of us meet more often than that, each with a specialty within the whole organization, each with a great deal of experience. And without those dedicated people, our jobs would be a lot harder. We continually strive to bring new people into the group as well. And I think this year we got 2 or 3, maybe 4 people who would be part of this team and be part of this community that gets together to run it. There's a lot of pride with the people who meet our planning committee, all of our various subcommittees. There's a lot of pride of ownership that we want to put on the best thing we can. And without that team, we would be lost.
The 2026 Northwest Tea Festival takes place Saturday and Sunday, September 26th and 27th, in the Exhibition Hall at Seattle Center. Tickets are available online. Buying ahead is the simplest way to spend more of the weekend tasting, learning, and meeting the people behind tea. Visit nwtfestival.org for tickets, the program, vendors, and visitor information. That's northwesttfestival.org. Our guests today were Virginia Wright and Andrew Goodman of the Northwest Tea Festival and the Puget Sound Tea Education Association.
Produced by Audavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.